In today's video, I'm going to give you guys the tools that you need to be able to not only rush the passer, but also contain the escape artist out of a formation that is pretty neglected. And in fact, I think this is one of the quickest setups in the game if you guys want easy pressure. So let's not wait any further. Let's get into it. What is up, guys? Zan for the Zan Madden YouTube channel. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the nickel normal defense. I've been taking a look at a few different defensive formations over the last month or so, trying to figure out ways that I can get creative, bring pressure on the quarterback, stop the run, and also, most importantly, contain the quarterback. Now, there is a difference between getting pressure on the quarterback and containing a quarterback. As you guys know, the escape artist right now is running rampant. It's got a lot of us content creators running off to play NCAA 14 as a kind of a break from the game to get us sane. I think that the nickel normal is a defense that can be pretty good for you guys. Now, I'm not going to go through this as an entire defensive scheme, but I am going to give you guys most of the template that you need to start generating more defensive stops in this formation. Now, let me explain to you very quickly why I think this formation is very, very good. And the first reason is going to be that it has the entire laundry list of coverages that I think that you have to be successful in Madden and get more stops. This isn't one of those games where you can really just sit in the same coverage every single down. Even the players that you watch that are pro players, you might see that pinch blitz 2 or that DB strike 2, but really they're making adjustments within those plays, and those adjustments are what win them those games via getting stops. So when you take a look at the nickel normal, I first gravitate towards the match defense, and I think that this particular formation has everything that you need. And when I talk about everything that you need, we're talking about quarters, we're also talking about palms, we're also talking about cover 6, and the most important coverage that I think most defensive formations lack that is a huge help for nickel packages in general is cover 9. And the reason for that is that the nickel corner that is in a cover 9 will be on the cover 2 side, and the linebacker side is matched, whereas in a cover 6, the nickel corner is on the cover 4 side. Now, if you guys have ever faced a player that likes to flip their bunch and you're running a match coverage, you have to have that nickel corner travel if you don't have a cover 9 in your audibles. But you can kind of bait them into running some match beaters, in particular those pesky corners to the other side if they flip and you simply audible into cover 9 and don't allow your nickel corner to travel with them. So that's kind of a little chess match that I played all year, and it's always been a deal breaker for me that I think that the cover 9 needs to be something that is in your audibles to be able to audible into that when your opponent motions or flips their formation, and you don't want to go through a ton of setups to kind of keep the nickel corner traveling. So that's really important. If you guys are enjoying this free YouTube content, I would strongly urge you to go over to my strategy website. GridironGameplansgg is your one-stop source for all things competitive Madden. Every week in our Vault Update, we take a look at the meta, or the most effective tactics available being used by pro players on the MCS circuit, breaking down not only how and why the pros do what they do, but most importantly, how you can counter those metas when you face them in online gameplay. On top of that, your subscription also includes any and every offensive and defensive game plan released on the website while your subscription is active, and access to our Discord server, where every single Wednesday, we have a live lab session covering the week's Vault content and any questions you guys have about Madden. So make sure you guys head over to GridironGameplansgg. $9.95 per month unlocks the entire website. Second, I think that this formation is really good in terms of its ability to generate pressure. In fact, I think it might be the easiest formation in Madden to generate pressure from. Let me go ahead and show you exactly what I mean. So I'm going to go ahead and call just a 5-out offense here, and I'm going to choose Tampa 2 here on a traditional auto flip, so that would keep the nickel corner to the bunch side. Now, what we're going to do with this particular formation is we're going to pinch everybody. So that's going to hit right bumper and then down on the left stick. And what you're going to see is that's going to pinch your defensive line, it's going to pinch your linebackers, and it's going to walk your corner up into a press alignment over the point man on the bunch. Now, what's really important about this is that from this point, all you have to do is choose one of the 2 linebackers, and it doesn't matter which linebacker, and they are going to be a blitzer. The other linebacker, which you will end up using. Now, with this particular look, traditionally you're going to get edge pressure from one defensive end or the other. So if they send 5 out, you're going to see that there's pressure right off the right side, and we're free to the quarterback for a sack. If you wanted to do the exact same thing out of this defense, again, if you were on auto flip, the nickel corner would be with the bunch side. You're going to pinch your defense. And let's say this time I wanted to lurk on the other linebacker. I would simply go ahead and blitz Greenlaw and user Fred Warner. And again, when they snap the ball, you're going to see that the pressure is the exact same, coming off the right side, free to the quarterback for a sack. And what's really, really nice about that is that, you can kind of play a generic coverage-based defense the entire way down the field. You could go ahead and, drop coverage, drop coverage, drop coverage. And then once they get to a point where they're sending 5 out consistently, that's when you spring the blitz on them. I think that's a great starter point for this defensive scheme. You show this look, but you don't send it. And you try to hold off as long as you can before you send it. Get them into a situation where, you mix in a little bit of match, take away their corner routes. You manually guard the crossers, make them check it down to the running back. Once you get them consistently looking underneath for their checkdowns, that's when you pick your poison and you go with the blitz call, and you're going to surprise them, hopefully forcing them to throw the ball quick and give yourself an opportunity for a pick 6. Now, that's how you get simple pressure on the quarterback. There are some other pressure looks that I do like about the nickel normal. So what we're going to do is, off of this pinch, we will then shift our linebackers away from the nickel corner. So you see the nickel corners on the right, you're going to shift your linebackers to the left. And what that's going to do is that's going to create kind of a glorified, I would call it a 4-3 even 6-1 type of look. And really what I would do is I would go a step further and I would go ahead and blitz this slot corner off the edge, and I would go ahead and blitz this linebacker off the edge. Now, if you go to QB contain from here by hitting right bumper and then right bumper again, you're going to note that the edge blitzers are actually in fixed blitz assignments and the defensive ends are in the contains. That's not what you want. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to move this guy in about 2 steps so he becomes the contain. That is really, really important. And then you're going to hit B a couple times, or you could just switch over to the nickel corner by holding down B and using the thumbstick to toggle, and you're going to slide him in until he is in the contain. And once those players are in contains, what's really important to note about this is that your opponent, when they go to do their double team and try to roll out, will only be able to put the double team icon on the outside linebacker if you move them too close. So what you want to do is you want to get kind of I would say into a routine with this where you keep them as far in that assignment as possible, where it doesn't change them into a fixed blitzer, but you then can't put the double team on them. So you see right here, now I can't put that icon on either player. So you're gonna have to practice that a little bit. It's not too difficult. Really, you're just gonna kind of look and be like, okay, it looks like they're about 1.5 player widths away from the defensive end on either side. And what that effectively will do for you is it will prevent them from being able to roll out. From there, you could go ahead and say this was a cover 2 defense. You wanted to put both of these defensive ends into vertical hooks. Now you're back in a cover 2 defense, which is actually going to do a pretty good job containing. And what you're hoping for is that you would get a double team split up the middle while they can't leave the pocket on you. So we go ahead and snap this football. You should be seeing somebody get a double team split. There's Hurst, and you've got perfect contains on both sides. Now, if you wanted to take it even a step further off that, you could go ahead and turn it into a 3-man rush. So I know that this seems like it's pretty setup intensive, but it's really not. You're just going to go ahead and pinch your defensive line, shift your linebackers to the opposite side of the nickel corner and press. Go ahead and blitz this guy and move him in. Blitz this guy and move him in, and your contained defense is set. Again, you could go ahead and put both of these guys into, zones. If you wanted to, you could go ahead and spy this player. And if you wanted to guarantee a double team split here, you would have to make sure you're rushing 4. So your user might be blitzed. Again, when we go ahead and try to put the double team icons, if you put them too close, you'll be able to put the double team icon on the corner, in which case rolling out will be simple. But you see over here on the other side, we've done a good job. I can't get the double team icon onto the contain man. So really what you're going to do is, again, you want to make sure that you're paying attention to kind of the width. You want to make sure that he's in a contain, as you see he is right there. And now this is going to be fixed. I can't put that double team icon. As you see, I'm spamming to the right. I can't get it over there. And what we'll see when the ball is snapped is that you're going to get a perfect double team split by Eric Armstead. There it is, right through the middle. And you're going to be free to the quarterback for a sack. Again, it's really, really important that if you're going to use this as a 2 contains and a 1-man rush, you want to make sure your user is blitzing. Now, you don't just have to do this out of a cover 2 based defense. Keep in mind that I talked about one of the deal breakers for me when I look at a defensive formation is having the full litany of match plays. So I'm a big fan of setting my audibles in my nickel packages, whether that be the 2-3-6 big dime version, which is kind of looks like nickel 2-4-5, or being in the nickel 2-4-5 itself, or even in this case nickel normal. I like to have a bunch of audible sets. So I like to have palms, I like to have a cover 6 coverage, and I like to have a cover 9 coverage. Those are the really, really important ones. Now, I'm not going to go too deep with the match rules. If you guys want to learn how to package in coverages behind this, my recommendation is to head over to GridironGameplansgg, where I have a full match game plan that focuses on teaching you the down and dirty details of match coverage, whether that be palms, quarters, cover 6, or cover 9. Not only just how those coverages behave, but how they behave when they're pressed versus off, when you're defending a trip set versus a twin set, when you're defending a bunch formation or a tight formation, and the custom adjustments that I like to make to those coverages to help lock down the field. In addition to that, I have a very, very unique setup that I'm running right now for cover 2 that I have on the site right now that's been in the vault, and a lot of players are locking down the coverage. So if you guys want the down and dirty coverages to go with this blitz and this contained defense, head over to Gridiron Game Plans, where I'm going to go into far more detail. But in general, when we're talking about match coverage, I think one thing that's really, really great is that if I run cover 6, let's say I'm on auto flip and I know that they want to throw that corner route, for instance. We obviously know here that in this coverage that with the match side being to the bunch side, they're not going to be able to throw their route to the right bumper. And you see right there, we actually got pressure from just pinching and not even blitzing right there. That will occasionally happen. But what you saw right there in the instant replay is that this corner route was not going to get open, which is really, really key. So you see right here, this guy breaks the corner and he's being matched by the cover 6. What a lot of players tend to do is they like to flip their bunch. So when you go back to the beginning of the video, I said that cover 9 is a deal breaker for me. That's what I meant, is that a lot of players want to flip. And if they flip, they're doing that with the purpose of flipping their play to get away from your cover 6 side, or the cover 4 side of the cover 6 is the better way of saying it. And if I wanted to stay in that coverage, I would have to flip my nickel corner. Well, if they see my nickel corner flip, they know that I'm still in match over there. They don't want to throw that. So let's pretend that I didn't flip my play. I like to go ahead and audible straight into the cover 9, because what that's going to do for me is that's going to bait my opponent into thinking they can throw that corner route to what was the cover 2 side in a cover 6. But now I've actually just audibled from cover 6 to cover 9, which is going to create kind of this interesting little kind of a mind screw for your opponent. If you think about it, is they don't see that nickel corner travel. They think they're safe to throw their little corner route, and you're going to end up with your opponent being sorely mistaken. You see right here, if I go to throw that route to right bumper, that guy's going to be smothered by that match quarter. Now right there, he caught it and landed out of bounds, but more often than not, you're looking at a pass breakup or maybe even an interception on that throw. So really, really nice to be able to do that. The other thing to consider is that if you wanted to go ahead and, let's say you came out and you pressed and you shifted your linebackers and you were lined up like so, and you wanted to bring pressure, right? You know, if they were to go ahead and flip their formation, one thing that you can actually do with this that a lot of people don't know about in Madden is that when you're in a match play, I've already customized this from cover 6 into kind of a blitz. If I wanted to make sure that I could defend the corner, I could take this guy off his soft squat zone and put him into an outside quarter. I could then go ahead and go to Tart and put him on an inside quarter. So if you're more of the click around your formation and adjust type, this is something that you could actually do and be just fine. Then from there, you might go ahead and put your outside linebacker into a hard flat. You might go ahead and put this outside linebacker, or this defensive end rather, into a hard flat. And then again, if you're doing the little 3-man rush, you know, you've got yourself a nice little quarters zone blitz that while it's not going to be instant pressure, it is going to be a double team splitter. And you should see that it looks pretty good. So here comes Armstead through that double team, and you're matching, and really the only thing they had was the running back. But they would have had to have waited for the running back to wheel out of the backfield, because we had this hard flat by this player right here. So they're not going to throw that ball right away. They're going to wait for him to turn up the field and clear. And by the time he clears that flat, you've got a double team split right here. So, you know, you can do some pretty crazy stuff with this. Now, again, I'm kind of a match fan. I love match, but again, I've got a very, very custom unique cover 2 that requires packaging and special hot routes that I have set up that's been locking down the field as well. So if you kind of think about what I provided here in this video, we basically have a nice little blitz setup. We've also got a nice QB contained setup that you guys can run that they can't double team and roll out on. And we've also got kind of the bare bones minimum of match, and then also kind of some zone stuff that we can run that you guys can find more detail on Gridiron Game Plans. Now, if you want to focus on this from a run stopping standpoint, my recommendation would be that you probably would want to make sure that you have some inside stuffs. I would go ahead and run them at the 2D tackle spots. The reason that I think that this could be a pretty solid formation in terms of like stopping some outside runs is the fact that it can be modified to look like the 4-3 even 6-1. So if we wanted to go back into that Tampa 2, for instance, what I'm going to do very quickly is I'm going to set just kind of a stretch or some sort of audible that we can run here. So let me go ahead and put like regular stretch. Let's see if we got one here. We got like a stretch alert bubble, for instance. And I think what's really, really interesting about this is that, you know, if somebody wants to audible down on this defense and try to run the football, you kind of have, you know, the best elements of a nickel 2-4-5 type defense with the best elements of the 4-3 even 6-1 all together in one defensive formation. So you're combining metas. So, you know, you might come out and be in this look, but you're not sending it, right? And then they go ahead and they decide that they want to audible down into their under center formation of choice, like maybe stretch alert bubble. At this point in time, you could actually flip and make him follow and then kind of reshift your linebackers to create that 6-1. So, you know, that would get this guy out here on the edge. And what that will end up doing is, you know, at least giving you the ability, you could go ahead and blitz the edge if you wanted to off of either side, but kind of gives you that ability to run this like a 6-1 and be able to, you know, kind of shoot those gaps or at least set the edge like you saw that I did right there. Now, we didn't get the tackle, but you kind of understand the principle of this. The same could be said if they wanted to audible down into like a single back, tight slots type of look, where again, if they do that, you could very quickly say, okay, let's go ahead and shift linebackers, pinch my defensive line, press. You know, right now this looks like a 4-3 even 6-1, and you know, if they decide to drop back and pass from this look, you're obviously going to be bringing some pretty nice pressure, even if they want to block their running back. So, you know, if you do something like this, you know, you're going to be in a spot where you might get that running back to step up to the wrong side, and you're bringing pressure right away. Now, again, right there, Russell Wilson broke that sack because of his extender ability, but most quarterbacks are going down on the first hit on that type of setup. So there you guys have it. I think that the nickel normal is very customizable. I think it's something that you can run, you know, as a base package. Obviously, it does take a little bit of work to kind of contain the quarterback, but it is possible, and that's great because, you know, if you have a defense where they can't slap a double team on your contain, that's putting you ahead of the curve. If you guys want all the coverage stuff that's going to take this defense to the next level, again, head over to GridironGameplans.gg, check out the match game plan, and make sure you guys check out the custom coverage that I built in the vault in December and January, and also being broken down into February as well. That is how good the coverage is. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, or complaints, drop them below. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. We'll see you guys tomorrow with the next one. Until then, this is Ann. Get the lab, and good luck.